Check for sound.
What's up, guys? Welcome back from the long holiday weekend. I know that I had a great time. I actually went up to Indian Lake, right between Dayton, Ohio and Columbus, Ohio. Had never been before. I mean, what an amazing time. Went up there with a bunch of friends of mine. Did the boat all weekend. My buddy just bought a house up there, so we chilled. People sat around the campfire. I mean, I don't know that we sang any songs, but, you know. It was a great American time, and I hope you guys had a great 4th of July as well. Some business, guys, happened on the 5th of July, and that was the Back to the Beginning concert. Now, Ozzy Osbourne has always been an extremely beloved figure in my heart. I mean, years ago, back in, 2009, I gave Ozzy Osbourne the key to the city that I grew up in West Palm Beach, and hands down, it was, to this day, still one of the coolest things I've ever done in my broadcasting career. As he was walking up to get the key to the city, Ozzy literally had tears coming down his face because he had never been honored in that way before. You know, prior to that, it had only been things like, you know, Ozzy urinating on the Alamo and then being banned from the whole state of Texas. So this was quite the turn of events for Ozzy Osbourne. He was on a book tour. And, you know, I'm not trying to make this too much about me, but just to kind of give you a little background of the actual love that I have for Black Sabbath and Ozzy. So this weekend, I was extremely excited. And this was the final performance from Black Sabbath and Ozzy Osbourne. And I was so skeptical going into this, guys. I mean, Ozzy's health has not been good. You know, he has advanced Parkinson's disease. He was seated at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He has not been able to perform standing up in some time. This performance was seated from Ozzy Osbourne, but I got to tell you, he sounded amazing. Far exceeded my expectations. The crowd was so into it. I mean, this laundry list of bands that played and did tributes to Sabbath and then even played some of their biggest hits. This is going to go down in rock and roll like Live Aid did in the 80s. Some of the performances were absolutely poetic, and I just want to get right into this. First of all, they did huge business. They raised tons of money, and this show, it's estimated right now that they raised up to $140 million for the Birmingham Children's Hospital and the Parkinson's charities that they were aiming to help out. And I mean, that's a lot of money. $140 million. Also, the stream did an estimated 5 million streams, and that was at $29.99 a pop before tax and everything. And I think you got a free t-shirt. I got to tell you, the $30 definitely worth the stream. And the weird thing about the stream, I'll tell you this is what I did not like, is when you got the stream, you could only have the stream for 48 hours. So you could either watch it live, or you could somehow in the next 48 hours, because it was extremely long. I mean, this was a like 9-hour broadcast. It was really intense. And I kind of thought, if you're going to pay $30, you should be able to own it forever, right? Well, what that tells me is they're going to somehow repackage this down the road and either sell it to streaming or put it out as some sort of Blu-ray or DVD that you can actually physically buy in person. I'm going to guess the streaming networks bid for this one. And why wouldn't you? It was absolutely amazing. I mean, you saw the return of Steven Tyler from Aerosmith. When Steven Tyler took the stage at Back to the Beginning, I didn't know what to expect. You know, we were talking about Ozzy and not knowing what to expect and what he was going to be capable of during this performance. I didn't know what Steven Tyler was going to be capable of. All we've heard was that Steven Tyler's voice is absolutely shot. And let me tell you something. That was far from the truth. Steven Tyler got up there and killed it. I mean, killed it. He sounded better than ever. I mean, rock star status all over the stage. He was Steven Tyler again. And I mean, if we don't get at least one more tour or a farewell Aerosmith concert, that's going to be a damn shame. I saw them in Vegas just a couple of years ago, right before their residency got canceled, and he was on top of the world. Unfortunately, a few weeks after that, he fell off the wagon. Not my fault. But in all seriousness, the whole thing got canceled. The whole residency was canceled. I saw them at the Park MGM inside the Dolby Theater, and it was, to this day, still one of the most badass shows I've ever seen. There's something to seeing one of these bands when they do their residencies out in Vegas. I think they're well rested. There's no travel. The stage show is just more precise, so you don't have any moving parts from night to night. These things can be corrected in these residencies like that. I mean, the crews that work on these are absolutely awesome. And Steven Tyler, we got to have you back in some fashion with Joe Perry on stage and doing the thing with the guys from Aerosmith, because what he did at Back to the Beginning this weekend was nothing short of amazing. He was up there with Nuno Bettenfield from the band Extreme, and Nuno's was literally like the MVP of this whole thing, okay? I mean, it was set to play like on just a few songs and ended up playing almost every damn set, from Flying High Again. I mean, he was just absolutely all over it. And, props to him, because I think without Nuno, honestly, I don't know if Back to the Beginning would have been as badass as it was. But yeah, Steven Tyler, he jumped up and did a 3-song set. He did Train Kept a Rollin', Walk This Way, and Zeppelin's Whole Lotta Love. Now, it's interesting. Steven Tyler was the only artist and or band, however you want to look at it, that did not perform a Sabbath song. Everybody else had a Sabbath song in their set. Now, Ozzy, I mean, so we all wondered how this was going to pan out, right? How was it going to go? We knew Pantera was there. We knew that Metallica was there. We knew that all of these huge rock acts were all there. But how does it shake out? When does Ozzy play? Does he play back-to-back? Does it go Ozzy and then Black Sabbath as the headliner? Or are they going to throw on Ozzy like somewhere mid-show and then Metallica plays, give Ozzy a second to kind of rest and then bring him back out for Black Sabbath? He went back-to-back, y'all. Back-to-back. Ozzy came out, played 5 Ozzy songs, and this is what was a little interesting to me. The stream was on a 2-hour delay, and you're asking yourself, well, why would a live stream be on a 2-hour delay? I think they were anticipating if something went wrong, they had time to correct that. Now, there are some people online that are pointing out that some of the audio that was captured by the fans, like on phones and stuff like that, the audio was a little bit different than the stream, because if you watch the stream, I mean, Ozzy's voice was damn near perfect. I mean, it was the best that I've heard him sound maybe since like the 90s. I mean, it was really awesome. Now, if you listen to some of the audio that was recorded in the crowd, and I'm not trying to be a pessimist, I'm just giving you what I'm hearing, they say it was a little bit different. And you can even, go listen for yourself and kind of check that out and be your own judge. Some folks are thinking that on the stream, the quality was enhanced. Now, I don't know that to be true, so I'm not reporting that as official news. I'm just throwing some rumors out there and what people are kind of talking about on message boards around the internet and just in the metal community in general. Yeah, Ozzy jumps up and just absolutely kills it. Okay, first of all, he didn't jump up. He sat down. We went over that part, right? Yeah, so he came from the bottom of the stage in the chair, right? And the chair rises from out of the stage, and there's Ozzy. And, I mean, he looked incredible, man. For a guy who's been battling Parkinson's disease, he absolutely looked incredible. And Ozzy's set was pretty good. Let me get the set list here for you. Let's go over this. So Ozzy played I Don't Know, Mr. Crowley, which was awesome, Suicide Solution, Mama, I'm Coming Home, which may have been one of the biggest highlights of the night. The entire crowd was singing along with him. You could see Ozzy being visually moved to tears as he's just taking in what's happening in the place where Black Sabbath was found, in Birmingham. And finally, Ozzy closed out the night during his solo set with Crazy Train, which, man, was absolutely killer. Zakk Wylde up there just doing his thing. I mean, the whole thing was just magical. And then we wanted it for the final time, Black Sabbath on stage together. Now, they did a whole world tour a few years ago where Rival Sons opened up. I think it was like maybe 5 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. And the missing piece of the puzzle there was the original drummer, Bill Ward. And that supposedly was the catalyst of this entire concert, was the fact that Ozzy was going to ride off into the sunset, but he did not want to do so until he could do it with the original members of Black Sabbath, Bill Ward included. Well, Bill was on stage, and Bill gives zero fucks. Bill Ward, at like almost 80 years old, was up there with no shirt on playing drums. You, sir? I mean, just salute, dude. He just zero fucks up there, just banging the skins, no shirt, just, just living his best life. And the set list was nothing short of amazing. I mean, they opened up with War Pigs, which how can you not? I mean, how can you not? They played NIB, which gave Geezer a chance to kind of do that sick bass solo, which just sounded absolutely amazing. They played Iron Man, and Paranoid finished out the night, which was kind of apropos. These guys, for the final time, went up there and killed it. And I think you can say, hey, it's the greatest career in music. Aside from just Ozzy's music as a solo artist, which saw so many hits throughout the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. But Black Sabbath, like literally, there would not be metal shows. There would not be metal bands. Forget metal shows. There would not be metal bands if it wasn't for the godfathers of metal, Black Sabbath. And what a great way for them to go out. It was just absolutely amazing. So we're going to take a short break. And, of course, this episode brought to you for the final week by Incarceration. I will see you there in Mansfield at the prison. Cannot wait. And if you don't know, now you know.
Incarceration, America's rock, metal, and tattoo festival with Slipknot. Falling in Reverse. Five Finger Death Punch. Plus Marilyn Manson, 3 Days Grace, Beartooth, Knocked Loose, Lamb of God, Parkway Drive, I Prevail, In This Moment, and so many more. Report to the Ohio State Reformatory on July 18th through 20th, 2025 to face your sentencing. 3 days of rock, tattoos, and the return of the Haunted Blood Prison. Passes for Incarceration are on sale now at incarceration.com.
All right, so let's jump back into this, back to the beginning, the Black Sabbath final performance. And there were tons of artists there. I mean, everybody from Pantera, Slayer, Tool, Metallica, Guns N' Roses. A little show note for you. How about backstage? It was the first time that Axl Rose and Ozzy Osbourne had ever met. Who would ever have thought that? I thought that was kind of crazy. And also backstage, real quick, I will tell you this. Sid from the band Slipknot proposed to Kelly Osbourne backstage. And if you haven't heard Ozzy's reaction, it's priceless. So these super groups that played alongside, the bands like Pantera, Tool, and Slayer, they gathered a bunch of just amazing artists like this. Okay, so super group, I guess we'll start with A, okay? So Supergroup A came out. Lizzie Hale fronted this band, and they played The Ultimate Sin. And this was also Nuno Bettencourt, like I said, who was, damn near MVP of the night. Jakey Lee, Ozzy guitarist, after Randy Rhoads passed away. You had David Ellefson, Mike Borden, and Adam Wakeman. Shot in the Dark. This is where things got a little bit weird. Everyone has their own opinions, right? And I'm not going to make any political statements here I'm just going to give it to you the way it is. So David Draymond came out as part of this Supergroup A, along with Jakey Lee, David Ellefson, Mike Borden, and Adam Wakeman. And they played Shot in the Dark and Sweet Leaf. And when David Draymond came out, there were a lot of boos. Of course, David Draymond, a Jewish guy who he's been very vocal about his support for the Jewish state of Israel. And there was a lot of pro-Palestine, free Palestine. I guess you call them, you could call it a movement, right? The pro-free Palestine movement. And that was very vocal in the crowd, and you could hear it. You could hear it on the live feed. You could hear it in person. There was cell phone video. And David Draymond addressed it on stage by saying, "Are we really going to do this?" And then he went even further after the show to release a statement on social media saying that he will not back down, that he is standing by Israel and will always stand by Israel. And this always goes back to the story of David Draymond going over to Israel and actually signing bombs and making the bomb out to Hamas. So make that what you will. But when they played Sweet Leaf, it was freaking sweet. I mean, they absolutely sounded killer. This also Supergroup A, they came out to do Believer, and this time it was Whitfield Crane, Nuno Bettencourt, Scott Ian of Anthrax, Frank Bello, and number 2, Sleep 2 from Sleep Token was on drums, who may be one of the best drummers in the game today. And they did Believer, which was awesome. Alice in Chains came out. And, Alice in Chains, I was really excited to see because we were gypped out of a set of Alice in Chains at Sonic Temple in Columbus, Ohio. If you were at that show, you know what I'm talking about. They were replaced by Beartooth. I was really excited to see Alice in Chains, and they came out, and this was after the illness in the band. This was their first performance, and man, Alice in Chains, just always so solid. And then the drum off happened a few bands later. Gojira played, and then the drum off happened, and you're going, oh, well, who was a part of the drum off? Well, I don't know, just a couple guys you may have heard of. Chad Smith from the Chili Peppers, Travis Barker from Blink-182. It was so rad. You had Nuno Bettencourt up there also playing guitar, and Tom Morello. And this drum off was crazy. And then Danny Carey came out too. And they were just going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And everybody got their chance to do their thing. And each style is slightly different, but so good. I mean, just mastery when you're watching these guys play drums. Supergroup B, now all of these supergroups, they would change out members depending on what songs they were playing. So the first one started out with playing Judas Priest, Breaking the Law, and Priest was supposed to be there, but they were actually doing their own show that had already been booked previous to the Back to the Beginning concert getting booked there in Birmingham. So doing Breaking the Law was Smashing Pumpkins' Billy Corgan singer, Tom Morello, KK Downing, Adam Jones, Rudy Sarzo, and Danny Carey on drums. I didn't know how Billy Corgan was going to sound doing Breaking the Law. He fucking killed it. That's how he sounded. He absolutely got up there and killed it. Flying High Again featuring Sammy Hagar on vocal was beyond cool. Sammy Hagar, it's just like he just pops around. You could just see him like interacting with the musicians backstage when they would show that footage. It's like he's rock and roll's frat boy. I mean, he's just there to party. He's there to make everybody smile. He's there to have a good time. The Red Rocker sounded just as good as ever. Pantera, they did Cowboys from Hell. They did Walk, Planet Caravan, and Electric Funeral. Like I said, everybody covered a Sabbath song. Tool's performance was really interesting, man. They came out 46-2. Really cool way to start out. They played Hand of Doom and then Inema. And Slayer, they were just equally as badass. When they played Raining Blood and Angel of Death, man, I was literally standing up in my living room like I was at the show. And here's where this was interesting. And I don't know that you'll see this anywhere else ever on another festival or on another award show or whatever. I don't think you're ever going to see this lineup again, where Guns N' Roses played before Metallica. This is where I was really wondering what was going to happen. And I think this says everything when it comes to the demeanor of Axl Rose these days. He's not the Axl Rose of past, the egomaniac that would make audiences wait until midnight to start a show when they arrived at 7 p.m. No, this is a different Axl Rose. This is Axl Rose who's out there being a team player with the rest of these bands, these hard rock and metal bands that came together to honor the godfathers of metal, Black Sabbath. And so they did. They played before Metallica, which was really interesting to see. But they just killed their 5 songs playing Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. I mean, that was so cool. And then finishing off the set with Welcome to the Jungle and Paradise City. Metallica, I mean, these guys just always the utmost professionals and just sounded tight at the top of their game. Hole in the Sky was one of the highlights for me. And they wrapped things up with Master of Puppets, and the entire stadium was just going bananas. Like I said, guys, this was literally nothing short of amazing. And just getting everyone together, I thought was so cool. But the literal highlight for me of the entire performance of every single band, Sabbath, Metallica, Pantera, everyone included, right, was Youngblood. He came out and did Ozzy's Changes. And traditionally, this song is done vocal and piano only. And he came out with Nuno Bettencourt and did it was almost like Purple Rain. It was like a mixture of that. When I say that, I mean like the feeling of Purple Rain, just where the guitar is almost like another vocal part. And Youngblood's voice, I mean, he was literally holding the microphone so far away from his mouth at one point. He was like down by his knees, and you could still hear. He had perfect volume. The whole crowd singing along with him. And I want to go back to Live Aid because it was kind of comparable. It was like seeing Freddie Mercury on stage at Live Aid when you were just like, dude, this guy's an absolute world beater. Yeah, that's what it was like, in my opinion, when Youngblood took the stage to play Changes. I mean, props to everybody who worked on this. I mean, this was nothing short of really special. And as I'm watching it in my in my living room, I'm having FOMO like nobody's business. I'm just like, why did I not schedule this trip? And I was really curious too, like what they were going to do streaming, because 5 million, very impressive. I mean, I'll give you an example. Like if the UFC pay-per-view does 1 million buys, that's huge these days because there's so much piracy online when it comes to stealing these streams. So to have recorded an estimated 5 million streams, that is pretty amazing. And I just didn't know how it was going to go over with the American audience, to be quite honest with you, because, you know, hey, it's the day after July 4th. You know, people go, they spend that with the family. They do what they do. A lot of people travel. So the idea that people would be available for 8 hours on July 5th, I just didn't know how that was going to shake out. Obviously, worked out just fine. And everybody walked away doing huge business and absolutely just owning it. So props to Sharon Osbourne and everybody else that put this together, because, I mean, this was a hell of an idea. And I was even on the show kind of saying, like, I don't know. I've heard rumors that Ozzy's not going to be able to pull this off. That was so far from the truth. Ozzy didn't only pull it off. Ozzy was Ozzy again, if not just for one more night. And I hope a whole generation of people that never got to see Ozzy at Ozfest or any of these amazing shows over the years really experienced something special. That was so cool. Back to the beginning, a huge success.
Incarceration, America's rock, metal, and tattoo festival with Slipknot. Falling in Reverse, Five Finger Death Punch. Plus, Marilyn Manson, 3 Days Grace, Beartooth, Knocked Loose, Lamb of God, Parkway Drive, I Prevail, In This Moment, and so many more. Report to the Ohio State Reformatory on July 18th through 20th, 2025 to face your sentencing. 3 days of rock, tattoos, and the return of the Haunted Blood Prison. Passes for incarceration are on sale now at incarceration.com.
So Back to the Beginning wasn't the only show going on in the UK over the weekend. The return of the brothers. Yes, Oasis. On stage for the first time in years. 2009 was the infamous split when they were like, we're never playing together again, which, I mean, can you even imagine being the parents of Liam and Noel Gallagher? I mean, come on. Like the most rivaling siblings of all time, right? Well, they got on stage in Wales and killed it. They did everything you'd ever want, all the songs. And at the very end, it's kind of interesting. We didn't get a hug from the brothers, but at the very end, Liam walked over and put his hand on Noel's back, and the stadium absolutely exploded. So just that small bit of love from brother to brother, the Oasis fans that traveled from all over the world. I saw interviews with people that were there from Japan that had bought tickets. You know, and that's a really interesting concert to plan a vacation around, right? I mean, how many times have Liam and Noel just said, fuck it, we're out of here, and walked off stage? So the idea that people really invested so much money into this show and then they got what they were looking for, that's a great story. And I was lucky enough to see Oasis back in the 1990s. They actually came into the radio station that I was working at over the weekend, 103.1 The Buzz in West Palm Beach, Florida. And it was so cool. They played West Palm Beach Auditorium. And the funny thing was Noel Gallagher, his main request in coming to the radio station was that we had Kentucky Fried Chicken ready for him. Big fan, apparently. The guy ate a whole box of chicken right before the interview. I'm like, is he going to even be able to sing? But yeah, I'm hoping that we get to experience that one more time here in the United States, as well as Oasis are toying around with the idea of doing a full-blown world tour. Now, the question is, do you think they can make it? Do you think the brothers will be able to get along and actually tour and get to all of these fans that have been waiting for years and years and years? Well, I hope so. A lot of people were very impressed that former members of Oasis were also on stage with the brothers. So that was very cool as well. One more little piece of information for you. This was kind of a shock, I think, to a lot of people, were the statement that Matt Cameron has officially split with Pearl Jam. Now, of course, he was also famously the drummer of the band Soundgarden as well. And I don't know if he plans to go back. He was originally tapped to play drums for Pearl Jam at the exit of Jack Irons, and then just kind of stuck around to become the official drummer of Pearl Jam for years. And it seems like the split is, I don't think there's any drama there, because both sides have released statements, and both statements are very favoring towards each other. It seems like to still be a lot of love there. So it will be interesting after 27 years to see what he does stepping outside of the kit behind Pearl Jam. Do you think we could see a Matt Cameron Soundgarden reunion? I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Thanks so much for supporting this channel, guys. Brand new episode coming your way next week. If you don't mind, throw a like and subscribe to the channel, and I will definitely see you guys in Mansfield, Ohio at the Ohio State Reformatory for incarceration as it just barrels into town. 3 days of hard rock, metal, and one of the biggest and best tattoo festivals in the entire world. So I'll see you there, guys. Thanks for watching.